be eliminated.
Live from New Delhi, watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Benjamin Netanyahu vows Israel committed to return of all hostages. Voting underway in western Indian state of Rajasthan for 199 out of 200 assembly constituencies of the state. Indian top-seeded shuttler Satvik and Chirag to face Chinese duo He Ji-ting and Ren Jiang-yu in semi-final of China Masters Super 750 tournament. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday has confirmed the first group of hostages had been returned from Gaza. In a video message posted on social media site X, Netanyahu said the nation is committed to returning of all the hostages from Gaza.
We have now completed the return of our first of our hostages, children, their mothers and other women, each and every one of them in a whole world. But I emphasize to you, the families, and to you, the citizens of Israel, we are committed to the return of all our hostages. This is one of the goals of the war, and we are committed to achieving all the goals of the war.
US President Joe Biden hailed the first release of hostages by Hamas and said the US expects more captives to be freed in coming days under a deal that paused weeks of fighting. During a news conference, Biden declined to speculate about how long the Israel-Hamas conflict would last, but said he thought the chances of an extension of the ongoing truce were real.
Over the next few days, we expect that dozens of hostages will be returned to their families. We also remember all those who are still being held, and renew our commitment to work for their release as well. 2 American women and 1 4-year-old child, Abigail, who remains among those missing. We also will not stop until we get these hostages brought home and an answer to their whereabouts. I remain in personal contact with the leaders of Qatar, Egypt, and Israel to make sure this stays on track and every aspect of the deal is implemented.
Now, following the attack on Israel by Hamas on October 7, 24 hostages, including 13 Israelis, Thai 10 nationals, 1 Filipino, were released along with 39 detained Palestinians. As part of a deal between Israel and Hamas, a total of 50 hostages and 150 Palestinian detainees are expected to be let go and a 4-day ceasefire agreed. To know more, let's take a look at DD India's correspondent William Denslaw's report from UN headquarters.
Thanks to this 4-day pause in the fighting, the UN says it's managed to scale up the delivery of humanitarian assistance in Gaza. They say that includes being able to deliver to hundreds of thousands of people more food, more water and more medical supplies across the Gaza Strip. UN officials speaking Friday said they also managed to cross 129,000 litres of fuel and 4 trucks of gas into Gaza. UN officials say they hope this is a sign of things to come.
We hope the agreement between Israel and Hamas, now in force, will bring respite to the people of Gaza and Israel and some relief to the hostages and detainees who will be released and to their families. We hope it allows grieving families to honor their dead and bury them with dignity. And we hope that this humanitarian pause leads to a longer-term humanitarian ceasefire for the benefit of the people of Gaza, Israel, and beyond.
The deal between Israel and Hamas was brokered with the assistance of Qatar, Egypt, and the United States. Speaking on Friday, President Joe Biden touted the role that Washington played, said that there was extensive US diplomacy. He said the deal was brokered in a way that allowed the pause to continue. He said that is the goal. He said that it's just a start, but things are going well. William Denslow in New York, reporting for DD India.
And a crowd of cheering Israelis welcomed children and women who had been held hostage for 49 days by Hamas terrorists as they were transported by helicopters to a hospital on Friday. Some holding Israeli flags applauded as the choppers landed at Schneider Children's Medical Center in central city of Israel, bringing some of the 13 freed Israeli hostages. The Israeli military said the first group of the hostages had undergone initial medical checks in Israel and would be returned to their families once they are medically cleared. The Israeli military released video of what it says is aid entering Gaza via the Rafah crossing on the first day of the war's truce. The UN Humanitarian Office said 137 trucks have offloaded in Gaza, the biggest convoy received since October 7. US President Joe Biden earlier said there was a real chance of extending the truce and that the pause in fighting was a critical opportunity to get humanitarian aid into Gaza. The foreign ministers of South Korea, Japan and China will meet for the first time since the start of pandemic. The main agenda is to organize a leaders summit. Let's take a look at DD India's correspondent Andrew Wood report from Hong Kong.
Well, back in 2008, the leaders of South Korea, Japan and China agreed to have a yearly summit between the three of them to talk about international and regional issues. And they were quite successful at keeping to that timetable until COVID came along. So the meeting of these three foreign ministers is the first time there's been a high-level meeting between the three countries. And of course, top of the agenda is trying to pave the way for the two presidents and the Prime Minister to meet soon, because an awful lot has happened in the past 4 years. Obviously, there was COVID, but also there's been the war in Ukraine that started. And South Korea and Japan are pretty much siding with the West and America on helping Ukraine or supporting Ukraine. China has not condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but it does seem to be an awful lot friendlier with Russia than it was even a year or two, despite the invasion. There's also the issue of North Korea. This affects all three of the countries. South Korea and Japan have moved closer to the United States in defending themselves against both China and North Korea, and the militaries of America, South Korea and Japan in the next week or two are due to start sharing real-time information on any missile launches that the North Koreans might be attempting to make, and just general military information as well. Now, North Korea is a problem for China too. In theory, North Korea and China are friends, but to be honest, I think that people in Beijing are probably embarrassed or even rather worried about what North Korea might do next. They really don't want to see North Korea collapse. That would really upset the balance, certainly in the short term, of the diplomatic and military balance in the region. Don't forget, America has tens of thousands of troops stationed in South Korea. If North Korea did collapse, or if it wanted to unify with South Korea, then that would potentially mean there could be American troops on the border of the old North Korean border with China. So there's lots to talk about here. In Hong Kong, I'm Andrew Wood, reporting for DD.
Well, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited in southern city of Bengaluru on Saturday morning. This is what you are seeing on the screen, a tweet by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which read, "Successfully completed a sortie on the Tejas. The experience was incredibly enriching, significantly bolstering my confidence in our country's indigenous capabilities and leaving me with a renewed sense of pride and optimism about our national potential." This is what the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tweeted. Well, to talk more on this, we've been joined by our correspondent Akshay Dongre. Akshay, what latest are you getting for us on this?
Well, Siddharth, what news that we are getting right now about the Prime Minister himself taking a sortie in the twin-seater aircraft.
Yeah.
That is homegrown, is in fact a morale booster for the Indian Air Force as well as the defense industry across the country. In Tejas is a platform that is homegrown, that has in fact enhanced India's Atmanirbhar or self-reliance to a different level. As far as the platform is concerned, this is a 4.5 generation fighter aircraft and one of the best in the world as far as the light combat aircraft category is concerned. However, the aircraft in which the Prime Minister flew today was a twin-seater aircraft, and things that are new about this particular aircraft is the fact that the first aircraft by the HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, was delivered to the Indian Air Force in the month of October. So about a month back, the first aircraft had come. The Indian Air Force has placed an order for 18 such twin-seater aircraft. Now, these are trainer aircrafts as well, as they can be with little configuration used for combat rules. As far as the capabilities of the twin-seater Tejas is concerned, is the fact that it is a multi-role aircraft that is designed to support the training requirements of the Indian Air Force and augment itself to the role of a fighter in case of the necessity. This is a huge boost to the self-reliance of the Indian defense industry. This is perhaps one of the shining beacons as far as India's defense manufacturing capabilities are concerned, and this exactly is the reason that the Prime Minister flew in Tejas from the HAL facility where he had gone to inspect the Tejas aircraft manufacturing facility. As far as India's orders for the aircraft are concerned, is we can expect about 220 Tejas aircraft in the fleet of the Indian Air Force in the next few years. Now, these include Tejas Mark 1 as well as Tejas Mark 2 aircraft that are highly capable of conducting all kind of operations, be it air-to-air operations, be it surveillance, be it ground operations, and they can carry state-of-the-art weaponry that are also being developed by DRDO, by HAL. So all of these combined on one platform, Tejas is in fact the future-ready platform for our defense manufacturing capabilities, Siddharth.
Definitely, Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated DRDO, HAL, and also every Indian. Now, Akshay, the HAL and GE from the US would be producing these engines jointly in a facility in India. That itself is a proud moment. And tell us something more about that.
Well, Siddharth, yes, when we talk about the GE 414 engines that are expected to power the Tejas platform, especially the Tejas Mark 2, and as well as the AMCA platform that is also being built in India. It is also a homegrown platform, which is, however, 5th generation. So that can also have stealth capabilities. It will be a further enhanced version of the aircraft that we are building right now. It will be a 5th generation aircraft that is in fact at par with some of the best aircraft that are used across the world, including the countries like US and Russia. The kind of 5th generation aircraft that they are producing, AMC is going to be on the same platform, and the GE 414 engines will be powering, are expected to power both the Tejas as well as the AMCA platform. So yes, that is in fact a great move for India's defense capabilities, defense manufacturing industry. However, once we talk a little bit more about the aircraft that Prime Minister today flew in, the Tejas twin-seater aircraft, it boasts technologies such as relaxed static stability. There is quadruplex fly-by-wire flight control system there. There is carefree maneuvering that is possible by Tejas. Advanced cockpit has been manufactured as far as Tejas platform is concerned. About this twin-seater, there's integrated digital avionics systems and advanced composite materials have been used for the airframe. So all in all, this twin-seater aircraft would not only be used to train the future pilots of the Indian Air Force at such a highly sophisticated platform, but they will also be used for any combat roles if required, if necessary. However, that will all depend on the necessities, but as far as the training by Tejas is concerned, that is in fact going to boost the capabilities of our air warriors as far as their trainings is concerned. So that is why an order of 18 aircraft has been placed by the Indian Air Force, and further as we can, as the platform grows and develops further, we can expect more such orders not just the Indian Air Force, but as we can see, there are other countries as well that have shown interest in Tejas, that are keen on buying Tejas aircraft for their respective air forces. But the fact that Prime Minister himself flew in the aircraft today shows the faith that he has in this platform that has been homegrown, and that will also increase the faith, the morale of the Indian Air Force warriors, as well as the foreign market people who are in fact interested in buying Tejas. That if the Prime Minister himself has faith in the aircraft platform, then certainly it highlights the kind of work that HAL has done in developing the aircraft.
Definitely. And Akshay, there is no doubt about the fact that India is on a journey to become a powerhouse in every sector, and that too by 2047, when India will be celebrating its 100th independence. Now, Akshay, tell us, these engines are being produced, will be produced in India. How will it benefit India in terms of the economic factor and in terms of boosting the country's economy?
Siddharth, as far as the engines are concerned of GE414, see, we have to understand that engines are the most important part of any aircraft.
Yeah.
It is basically, it powers the aircraft. Without an engine, an aircraft is just an airframe.
Yeah.
Engine is the deciding factor that how powerful an aircraft is going to be. While we are also developing the Kaveri platform as for homegrown engines as well, but this GE414 deal and the co-manufacturing of the engines, the technological know-how of how to build these kind of engines, are certainly going to boost India's defense capabilities in terms of knowledge of how to build these state-of-the-art engines that can power platforms like Tejas. So that certainly is going to be a big boost for not just the Indian defense manufacturing capabilities, but the economy as well. Because once you know how to develop these engines, how to manufacture these engines, then you become one of the few countries who have similar knowledge. And certainly you can manufacture, upgrade the engines, and become a market for the rest of the world as well, Siddharth.
Well, definitely. Akshay, you just mentioned the defense capabilities, when these engines will come and when these engines will be produced in India, they will certainly enhance the defense capability of India. Tell us something about that.
Well, Siddharth, yes, absolutely. When we talk about the engines of the Tejas aircraft, then certainly it is going to boost the Indian defense manufacturing capabilities, because these engines only will power aircraft such as Tejas. So what we can expect in future is that India becoming a manufacturing hub, not just for a platform like Tejas, but also for engines like GE414, with which a deal has been filed with the United States. So certainly Prime Minister there sitting in Tejas twin-seater aircraft that has been delivered just last month to the Indian Air Force. The first aircraft was delivered in the next 2 years. 18 aircraft are expected to be delivered to the Indian Air Force, and these are certainly going to be used for training purposes of our pilots. And be it the avionics of the system, be it the technological know-hows of building such a similar platform, they are certainly going to boost not just the morale of the air warriors, but also the capabilities of Indian defense manufacturing industry. So that is in fact a good news, not just in terms of our military capabilities, but our economy, but the finance of the country as well, but the economics of the country as well, as India can become a major weapon supplier for the rest of the world as well, when it has the capability to manufacture these advanced platforms, similar to what we are seeing right now on our screens, in which Prime Minister himself flew today.
Well, definitely, Akshay. And GE's F414, if I talk about the engines, they utilize advanced technologies, Akshay, and they enhance engine performance, also durability, and they also reduce life cycle cost, for that matter, for next generation combat aircraft. I mean, this certainly goes on to show how powerful these engines are, and like we've just discussed, they will certainly enhance the defense capabilities of the country.
If you can please repeat the question, Siddharth.
Definitely, Akshay. I was just talking about the GE414 engines. They utilize advanced technologies, and for that matter, they enhance engine performance. Also, durability is also in place, and they reduce the life cycle cost, Akshay, for next generation combat aircraft. That goes on to show that how powerful these engines are, and certainly, like we were talking, that how well they will enhance the country's defense capabilities.
Well, certainly, Siddharth, that will boost the capabilities of the aircraft. However, if we talk about the other parts of the aircraft, especially the kind of technology that's been used to manufacture this platform, then certainly Tejas is going to be one of the best platforms for future combat aircraft. For when we are seeing the other countries who are trying to develop not just 5th generation platforms, but 6th generation platforms as well. Then to have a base, you have to have the technical know-how of how to build the aircraft from the scratch. Tejas is one such platform for India. The scientists have invested rather a lot of time to develop and to perfect the art of creating such a kind of platform, be it the 4th generation aircraft or 4.5 generation aircraft, similar to one we are seeing right now, the Tejas twin-seater aircraft. It certainly is going to be the base for the Indian defense manufacturing capabilities to further go on to build 5th generation aircraft and perhaps 6th generation aircraft in future, unmanned aircraft. So all of these will have to have the base of Tejas, and the platform can be developed into multiple other platforms. For example, we can talk about the Tejas marine platform can also be developed further. We are seeing ZBF, that is deck-based fighter that is being developed for the Indian Navy. We have AMCA, which is the 5th generation aircraft that is going to have stealth capabilities. That will be one of the best aircraft, rather one of among the best aircraft that are being used in the world. It is going to take time, however, but with the Prime Minister going there and taking a sortie in the twin-seater aircraft, twin-seater Tejas that has just been delivered to the Indian Air Force, this certainly is going to be the platform that will be used as well for the future aircraft like AMC, Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, ZBF, and Tejas Mark II as well. So all of these future combat aircraft that we are seeing will require a similar kind of platform like we have including the Tejas twin-seater trainer aircraft that will in fact prepare our pilots to be ready for the future combat aircraft that are being built and that are being developed right now.
Definitely. Akshay, just tell us something about the Tejas aircraft, how it is different from the other aircrafts and how it will help fighter pilots when they'll be going into the combat, and how it will certainly help the fighter pilots because we've just learned that this aircraft is certainly built with utmost care, and this aircraft has many advanced technologies. So how will it help the pilots, and how will it help the fighter pilots who will be going into combat?
Well, Siddharth, Tejas is a unique platform. It is a light combat aircraft that is capable of executing several missions. This is an all-weather aircraft. This can take off, execute missions at any kind of weather, be it extreme weather situations. The Tejas aircraft has the capability to execute mission at any given point of time, be it day or night. It is a 4.5 generation aircraft, which means that it is above the 4th generation aircraft that are used across the world. So it is more advanced than that. It is just short of a few capabilities that prevent it from becoming a 5th generation aircraft that includes the stealth capabilities, some sort of composite materials that are used in the 5th generation aircraft. But certainly one thing is very clear, that with such an advanced trainer aircraft, we are future ready now as far as the pilot training purposes are concerned. So Tejas is going to be used certainly for that. However, when we talk about the specifics of this particular twin-seater and how this has been developed, how this is different from the other trainers that we have been using, then it has glass cockpit, advanced glass cockpit, as we have talked about earlier, integrated digital avionics systems, and advanced composite materials that have been used to manufacture the airframe. It has a quadruplex fly-by-wire flight control. It has relaxed static stability. And these are all extremely advanced technologies that have been perfected over time and that are used in some of the best, the most advanced combat aircraft platforms that are being integrated in a trainer aircraft. So the reason this is a twin-seater aircraft is the fact that one can be a pilot and the other can be a trainer pilot that can get trained into all sort of possibilities of combat, of how to fly the aircraft. So that is how the aircraft will be used, but it is not just limited to that. In case of necessity, the aircraft will also be used for combat-related purposes too, Siddharth. So this is how it makes
Indeed.
LCA Tejas, Light Combat Aircraft Tejas, one of the most advanced trainer platform in the world.
Well, thank you so much on that note, Akshay. Thank you so much for that analysis. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today tweeted, and his tweet read that successfully completed a sortie on Tejas. The experience was incredibly enriching, significantly bolstering my confidence in our country's indigenous capabilities, leaving me with a renewed sense of pride and optimism about our national potential. This is the Tejas aircraft, which is advancedly built to help our fighter pilots when they'll be going into the combat. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram as well. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bhardwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.